friends, welcome to all of you. I am coming to talk with you with my new video that is based on Catherine Mansfield's A Cup of Tea. The story A Cup of Tea is prescribed for SYBCS computer science students into the SSPU means Savitribai Phule Pune University Pune. Today in this video we are going to learn about the story, the short summary of the story, then the theme of the story and characterization of the story. The first, we will going to discuss about the summary of the story or the evaluation of the story. The story Cup of Tea is written by Catherine Mansfield in 1922. In this story, she has presented class consciousness and materialism as its prominent point. The story was published in the famous Storyteller magazine and later in Mansfield's short story collection, The Dove's Nest. The trend of class distinction is presented from the story. In the story, Rosemary Fell, a rich woman who married 2 years ago with a rich man, Mr. Phillips. In the story, the story opens in a shopping corner of London. She visits antique dealer shop and asks the shopkeepers to save a small beautiful velvet box for her. When she out of the shop and reaches towards the car, a girl asking her to pay for the price of cup of tea. Rosemary, finding an opportunity of adventure, and asked her to come her home. She had an impact of various authors, and so she wants to show the girls that rich people have mercy. The girl comes with her at her home. When they came home, Rosemary shows her home to the girl and trying to show sympathy towards the girl. But the girl has only thinking about hunger, and suddenly Rosemary orders for tea. Rosemary lights a cigarette and starts a conversation with the girl, which was interrupted by her husband, Mr. Phillips. When he asks about her in privately about Miss Smith or about the girl, Rosemary replies that she has just helping the girl whom she picked from the street. Rosemary says that she picked the girl from the street. It is a very danger, and even it shows the real face of Rosemary. Her husband does not like her behavior, and so he said that girl, Miss Smith, is attractive and pretty. Suddenly, Rosemary leaves the library and enters the study room and picks some cash in the hands of girl. And she returns into the library with her husband and whispers to him, "Am I pretty?" Here the story ends. The story has different themes. Even the Rosemary's behavior, her shopping incidents say to us the different class and their behavior. So this point we are going to learn now. The themes. The theme of the story is a class distinction and materialisms. The story presents differential behavior of the upper class towards the lower class through Rosemary. Her attitude and behavior gives quite a clear image of mentality possessed by discriminating elites. Materialism is rigidly followed by upper class. The more they have, the more they want, and they don't want anything ordinary. They want the best of all, the extraordinary, unaffordable by the commons. They want for more never dies. The velvet box in the story symbolizes materialism, while the cup of tea symbolizes the equal needs and requirements of the rich as well as the poor. We are going to discuss also about the characters from the story. Here, the Rosemary fell. Rosemary is a socially balanced, rich married woman with a faithful and loving husband, Mr. Phillips. She is well-dressed. Her interest is mainly of reading books, and she greatly inspired by the characters and their adventures, lives, which she reads in the stories. Her inspirational interest can be judged from the decisions she takes when she interacts with the poor soul called Miss Smith. By taking her home with a simple thought of it being an adventure for her recalling the stories of Dostoevsky. Apart from this possession and insecurity can be sensed in her character. The second important character is Phillips Fell. Phillips Fell is the husband of Rosemary, one of the richest person of its society. He loves his wife faithfully and cares for her a lot. He called Miss Smith pretty much as to his wife's disappointment and sent Miss Smith away from the house. Then the third one, Miss Smith, a poor girl. Miss Smith, she is a lean and thin poor girl of just the age of Rosemary. She can't even afford a single cup of tea and comes to ask Rosemary to pay her the price of a cup of tea. She is an odd person, frightened and confused. She is shocked when Rosemary asks her to have a cup of tea with her at her home. In Mr. Phillips' point of view, Miss Smith is a very attractive and pretty. The final character from the story is the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper, or the owner of the shop, a very beautiful antique shop, which was one of Rosemary's favorite shops. He would always be looking forward to have Rosemary at his shop and always saving in lovely piece of art for Rosemary. Then we are going to analyze the story with the point of the title. The title of the story is plain and a simple one. Readers attract towards it, as one can wonder what a title so simple can hold inside it. The attraction of the story increases the imagination of the reader as one comes across the content of the story. The title of the story is relatable to the story at the point when a poor girl from the story asks a rich woman to pay her the price of a cup of tea. The setting of the story. The setting of the story is early 1940s back in London. The story begins with a shopping situation of Rosemary. It is the place where she meets poor girl, Miss Smith. Now, the last point that we are going to discuss, that is known as the significance of the story. Here, I am going to explain you what are the significance Catherine Mansfield used in this story, and with the help of this significance, how she justifies the class discriminations and the difference between the poor and the rich person's lives. A Cup of Tea by Catherine Mansfield has the theme of jealousy, insecurity, materialism, and class distinction. The story is narrated in the third person by an unnamed narrator. By telling that the reader, they were rich, really rich, not just comfortably well off. Mansfield succeeds in not only highlighting to the reader how wealthy Rosemary and Phillips are, but more importantly, Catherine manages to highlight how different Rosemary is from others. Though it may appear to be insignificant, the fact that Rosemary has a car may also be important, as by introducing the car into the story, it is possible that Mansfield is further highlighting the class difference that exists between Rosemary and those around her. At the time the story was written, only the very wealthy would have had the resources to buy a car. Mansfield trying to show the class distinctions through Rosemary's surprising behavior when Miss Smith asked rupees for a cup of tea. This also suggests that Rosemary is from different class who don't have any idea about ordinary people except from the books. She can't imagine that somebody have no little money. Rosemary's treatment towards Smith shows how rich people trying to show how they are generous and kind-hearted, but in reality they are not. Miss Smith's behavior in the house of Rosemary shows that both are different and they belong from the two different classes that never equal. Rosemary brings Smith at her home for only getting information about herself that she able to say to her friends. The Little Velvet Box is highlighting the importance of material things of rich. The flowers that Rosemary buys may also have some symbolic importance of material things of rich. Give me 4 bunches of those. Mansfield may be further highlighting how different Rosemary is from other. Rosemary's change of attitude towards Miss Smith after Phillips tell her that she thinks Miss Smith is a pretty and is also interesting. It is from Phillips' remark that reader realizes not only is Rosemary jealous of Miss Smith, but she also appears to be insecure about her own physical appearance. The fact that Rosemary asks Phillips for the money to buy the little box may also be significant. It would again highlight the importance of material things to Rosemary. Also, by ending the story with Rosemary asking Phillips, "Am I pretty?" Mansfield may be further highlighting how insecure Rosemary feels about her physical appearance. Thank you very much. Please share this video and write in comment if you like the video. Thank you very much.